What would you call a mother who takes $3,500 from her daughter every month for 3 years, then tells everyone her other daughter is the hero? What would you call a sister who accepts praise, celebrations, and a 40-person dinner party for money she never spent? Ungrateful? Manipulative? Cruel? I called it my family, until the night my mother told me I wasn't half the woman my sister was, right before announcing a party to honor Vivian for saving our house. The house I'd been saving with $127,000 of my own money. That's when I decided to stop being quiet. My name is Nora Ellis, and this is what happened when I finally told the truth. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from. Let me paint the picture of my family. We lived, well, they still live, in a Victorian house in Pacific Heights, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in San Francisco. 4 bedrooms, bay windows overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, worth about $2.1 million. The kind of house that tells everyone you've made it. My mother, Margaret Ellis, 58, used to be a public relations director before she retired into what she called society work. Translation: she spent her days at the Pacific Union Club, organizing charity galas and making sure everyone knew our family name. She wore Chanel-like armor and spoke in that polished tone that made every sentence sound like a judgment. My sister Vivian, 32, was everything my mother had ever wanted in a daughter. Corporate attorney at Morrison and Foerster LLP, one of the most prestigious law firms in the city. She pulled in $280,000 a year, wore Bottega Veneta bags, and had her life featured in San Francisco Magazine under 40 Under 40 Rising Stars. Then there was my father, David Ellis, 61, investment director, recently retired. He was the quiet type, the one who actually listened when you spoke. He wore simple gold-rimmed glasses and kept his Patek Philippe watch understated. He trusted people, especially my mother. And me? I was Nora, the other daughter, the one who became a freelance accountant because I liked working from home. The one who made $65,000 a year and was perfectly happy with it. The one who didn't wear designer labels or have my photo in magazines. The one my mother introduced to her friends as Nora, she does bookkeeping or something. I should have known, even then, that in my mother's eyes, I would never be enough. September 2021. That's when everything started to fall apart. My father had retired early that spring, thinking his investment portfolio would carry them comfortably through retirement. Then the market shifted. Tech stocks crashed. His portfolio lost 40% of its value in 6 months. Suddenly, the comfortable retirement became a crisis. The mortgage on the Pacific Heights house was $380,000 remaining. Monthly payments, $3,500. Money that was supposed to come from Dad's dividends suddenly wasn't there anymore. I remember the night I found out. I'd come over for dinner, back when I still came over regularly, and found my mother crying in her bedroom. Not the delicate, dignified tears she showed at funerals. Real, ugly crying. "We're going to lose the house," she said when she saw me. "Your father's investments. Everything's gone wrong. We can't make the payments." I looked for Vivian, thinking surely my successful lawyer sister would help. But Mom shook her head. "Vivian just made junior partner. She's working 80-hour weeks. She can't be distracted by this." That word, distracted, as if our family losing everything was an inconvenience. The next week, I heard Dad on the phone with the bank. "Is there any way to restructure the loan? Any program for hardship cases?" His voice cracked on that last word. My father, who'd built a career on confidence, was begging. I made a decision that night. I had $60,000 in savings from years of living carefully. I could make $3,500 a month if I took on extra clients, cut back on everything else. So I called Richard Smith, a family law attorney I'd known since college. "Richard, I need you to notarize something for me." He met me at a coffee shop 2 days later. "Nora, are you sure about this? If they don't know you're paying, just notarize it," I said. "And Richard, keep copies of everything. Every document, every payment confirmation. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. But Nora, don't let them take advantage of your kindness. I signed the mortgage deed modification that day. My name, my responsibility. I thought I was saving my family. I didn't realize I was making myself invisible. December 2021. 3 months into paying the mortgage. Christmas dinner at the Pacific Heights house. 15 relatives crowded around the dining room table. The long one with the Hermès Chêne d'Ancre china that Mom only brought out for special occasions. Crystal glasses filled with Chateau Margaux. The baccarat chandelier catching the candlelight. My mother stood up, raised her wine glass, and smiled at the assembled family. I want to make a toast, she announced. This year has been difficult for David and me, but thanks to Vivian, we've weathered the storm. She turned to my sister, who sat at the place of honor to Dad's right. Because of my daughter's hard work and dedication, we were able to keep this house. Vivian, you are extraordinary. Everyone applauded. Vivian smiled, that modest smile she'd perfected for client meetings, and said, I'm just glad I could help the family. I sat at the far end of the table, next to Aunt Carol, who spent the whole meal talking about her cruise. I cut my turkey into smaller and smaller pieces, trying to swallow past the lump in my throat. After dinner, I went to the bathroom and transferred $3,500 from my checking account to my mother's account through Zelle. Payment for December. I typed in the memo line, December mortgage. When I came back downstairs, Mom was showing everyone the framed photo of Vivian from San Francisco magazine. My brilliant girl, she kept saying. The pattern continued. March 2022, my 27th birthday. Mom canceled our lunch because she had to attend Vivian's 40 Under 40 award ceremony. July 2022. I passed my CPA exam after 2 years of night classes. I called Mom to tell her. That's nice, dear, she said. Did I tell you Vivian just closed a $5 million deal? Month after month, payment after payment, my savings account draining, my studio apartment in No Valley feeling smaller and smaller. I kept thinking, maybe next month she'll notice. Maybe next month she'll ask where the money comes from. She never did. Every month, the routine was the same. First of the month, email from Pemberton Trust Bank. Dear Ms. Ellis, thank you for your payment of $3,500 for mortgage account ending in 4782. Your dedication to maintaining your family home is commendable. I'd download the PDF statement, save it to a Google Drive folder I'd created. Pacific Heights, Mortgage Records. File name, Statement 092024. Statement 2024. One after another. October 2024. Statement number 36. $127,000 paid. More than a third of the original mortgage. I sat in my studio apartment, 600 square feet I rented for $1,800 a month, and looked at the number on my screen. I'd been eating meal-prepped rice and chicken breast for 3 years. I hadn't taken a vacation since 2021. My furniture was all IKEA, my clothes mostly from Target. The Pacific Heights house had appreciated to $2.1 million. I'd saved it, and no one knew. That afternoon, my father stopped by unexpectedly. He did that sometimes, brought me coffee and asked how I was doing. He was the only one who ever asked. Nora, honey, how are you? He hugged me, then noticed my desk, papers everywhere, my laptop open to my banking homepage. His eyes caught on an envelope near my keyboard. Pemberton Trust Bank logo in the corner. You have an account at Pemberton? He asked casually. My heart jumped. Oh, that's just an old savings account, Dad. He nodded, didn't push, but I saw something flicker in his eyes. Curiosity. Confusion. Okay, sweetheart. Well, I just wanted to check on you. He kissed my forehead and left. I looked at that envelope for a long time after he was gone. I should have told him right then, but I'd been invisible for so long, I didn't know how to be seen. Friday night, October 18th, 2024. Mom had called earlier in the week. Family dinner, 7 o'clock, don't be late. Not an invitation, an order. I arrived at 6:55. The dining room was set with the Hermes china again. Jo Malone candles, lime basil and mandarin, burning on the sideboard. A bottle of Bordeaux already open, breathing. Vivian was already there, of course. She wore a burgundy Zimmermann dress and had her Bottega Veneta bag on the chair beside her. She looked up when I walked in, gave me a small smile. "Hey, Nora." "Hey." Mom appeared from the kitchen wearing a cream Chanel dress. Her hair was perfect. It was always perfect. "Nora, you're here." She said it like she was surprised I'd shown up. "Sit down, dinner's almost ready." We sat. Dad poured wine. Mom brought out roasted chicken with herbs, roasted vegetables, a kale salad with pomegranate seeds. "So," Mom said as we started eating, "I wanted to tell you all that I'm planning something special, a family appreciation dinner. Next Saturday, 40 guests." Vivian looked up. "What's the occasion?" Mom smiled, reached over and squeezed Vivian's hand. "You, darling. It's time everyone knew what you've done for this family, how you've kept us together these past 3 years." My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. Dad looked confused. "Margaret, what do you mean?" "Vivian has been covering our mortgage, David. Didn't you know? Our daughter has been using her connections, managing payments, keeping this house afloat. She's saved us." The room tilted. I set down my fork carefully. "Mom," I said quietly, "that's not—" "Nora, sweetie, I know you've tried to help in your own small ways," Mom interrupted, not even looking at me. "But Vivian is the one who's really made the difference. She's the one who's sacrificed." Something inside me cracked. "Mom, I need to tell you something." Margaret turned to me then. Her eyes were cold, final. "Nora, you're not half the woman your sister is. Don't try to compare yourself to Vivian." The words landed like a slap. Dad's wineglass froze halfway to his lips. Vivian's eyes went wide. And I pushed my chair back, stood up, and for the first time in 3 years, I stopped being quiet. "Perfect," I said. My voice didn't shake. "Then she can start paying the mortgage you've been hiding from Dad." The silence was absolute. Then my father's voice, low and trembling with something I'd never heard from him before. Rage. "Mortgage? What mortgage?" My father set his wineglass down very carefully. His hands were shaking. "Margaret." His voice was quiet, but there was steel underneath. "What is Nora talking about?" Mom's face had gone pale. "David, it's not what it sounds like." "What mortgage, Margaret?" Louder now. I stayed standing. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it, but my voice came out steady. "For the past 3 years," I said, "I've been paying $3,500 a month into your account, Mom. Every month. First of the month, to cover the mortgage on this house." I turned to my father. "When your portfolio crashed in 2021, you couldn't make the payments anymore, so I took over. $127,000 total." Vivian's face had lost all color. "Nora, what are you— Did you ever wonder, Vivian?" I looked at my sister. "Did you ever ask Mom where the money was coming from, how she was making the payments?" Vivian opened her mouth, closed it. "I thought so." Dad stood up now too. His chair scraped loudly against the hardwood floor. "Margaret, is this true?" "David, I can explain. Is it true?" I'd never heard my father yell, not once in 29 years. Mom flinched. "Yes, but David, Nora offered to help. It was a family contribution, and Vivian has helped too in her own ways. Her reputation, her connections." "Her reputation?" I couldn't help the bitter laugh that escaped. "Dad, I have bank statements, 36 months of them, every single transfer from my account to Mom's, every confirmation email from Pemberton Trust Bank. I can prove every cent." My father stared at my mother like he'd never seen her before. You told me, he said slowly, that Vivian was handling it. You said she'd worked something out with her firm, some kind of loan assistance program. I never said that exactly. You lied to me, Margaret. The word hung in the air. Lied. Mom reached for him. David, please. He stepped back from her hand. Nora, he said, his voice rough. Next week. I want to see you. Bring every document you have, every statement, every email, everything. He looked at my mother one more time. Then he walked out of the dining room. We heard the front door close a moment later. I left the house 20 minutes later. Didn't finish dinner. Didn't say goodbye to Vivian, who sat frozen at the table like a statue. My phone rang at 11 p.m. Mom. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Nora? Her voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk about what you did tonight. What I did? You upset your father. You know he has high blood pressure. You could have triggered a stroke. Is that what you wanted? I sat down on my IKEA couch, suddenly exhausted. Mom, you lied to him for 3 years. I was protecting this family, protecting Vivian from stress, protecting your father from worry. You were protecting yourself, I said quietly. You wanted everyone to think Vivian was the hero, that you raised a daughter successful enough to save the family. Silence on the other end. Then, Nora, you don't understand how the world works. Vivian's reputation matters. Her career, her image, those things are fragile. She's worked so hard to build them. And what about me? You're different, honey. You don't need recognition. You're not that type of person. The words were meant to sound gentle. Instead, they felt like erasure. Mom, are you listening to yourself? I'm asking you not to make a scene at the appreciation dinner, she said, her voice hardening. If you stand up in front of 40 guests and embarrass Vivian, if you humiliate this family, I will never forgive you. Do you understand me? Never. My hands were shaking now. You're threatening me? I'm reminding you what family means, Nora. Loyalty, discretion, not airing our private business for everyone to see. There's nothing private about 40 people celebrating a lie, Mom. She made a frustrated sound. Think very carefully about what you do next. Because if you go through with this, there's no coming back. Maybe, I said softly. I don't want to come back. I hung up. For the first time in 3 years, I cried. Not sad tears, angry ones. Then I opened my laptop and looked at that Google Drive folder one more time. 36 statements. 1 mortgage deed with my name on it. 3 years of proof. I wasn't going to be invisible anymore. Before I tell you what happened next, I want to ask you something. If you've ever been in a situation where your family took you for granted, where you sacrificed everything only to be told you weren't enough, leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and telling the truth? And if this resonates with you, please hit that like button. It really helps me continue sharing these stories. Now let me tell you about the week that changed everything. The invitation arrived 3 days later. Heavy cream cardstock, embossed lettering. You are cordially invited to a family appreciation dinner honoring Vivian Ellis, the pillar of our family, Saturday, October 26th, 7:00 p.m. 40 people on the guest list. I recognized the names: Patricia Vanderbilt from the Pacific Union Club, James Morrison, senior partner at Vivian's law firm, 5 other club members, colleagues, business associates, friends who'd known our family for decades. At the bottom of the invitation, in smaller print, David, Margaret, Vivian, and Nora Ellis. My name was last, smallest font, and Nora. That same afternoon, Patricia Vanderbilt called me. She was Mom's closest friend, old money San Francisco, always perfectly dressed in Oscar de la Renta. Nora, darling, I just got the invitation to your sister's celebration. Your mother tells me Vivian has been such a support to the family. You must be so proud of her. I held the phone away from my ear for a moment. Took a breath. Mrs. Vanderbilt, Did my mother tell you how Vivian supported the family? Well, she said Vivian managed to keep your family home through some financial difficulties. Quite impressive for someone so young. I see. Thank you for calling, Mrs. Vanderbilt. After I hung up, I called my father. Dad, can we meet? Before the party? Yes. His voice was tired. Come to my office tomorrow. Bring everything. The next morning, I drove to Pacific Heights with a black binder. Inside, 36 monthly bank statements from Pemberton Trust Bank. The mortgage deed modification, notarized by Richard Smith, dated September 15th, 2021, with my name as the payment guarantor. 36 email confirmations. A summary sheet I'd prepared. Total paid, $127,000 monthly payment, $3,500 duration, September 2021, September 2024. Original mortgage balance, $380,000, remaining balance, $253,000. My father opened the binder, started reading. His hands trembled as he turned the pages. When he finished, he sat back in his chair and covered his face. Nora, my God, why didn't you tell me? I thought, my voice cracked. I thought if I just did it quietly, maybe one day someone would notice. Maybe I'd be enough. He reached across the desk and took my hand. You've always been enough. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. What are you going to do, Dad? He looked at the binder again, then at me. What are you going to do at the party, Nora? I met his eyes. I'm going to tell the truth. He nodded slowly. Then I'll be standing right beside you. Thursday, 2 days before the party. Someone knocked on my studio door at 7 p.m. I looked through the peephole. Vivian. She stood in the hallway wearing a gray Armani suit, holding a Starbucks cup. She looked exhausted. I opened the door. Hey, she said quietly. Hey. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my tiny studio, my IKEA furniture, my folding table desk, my twin bed in the corner, and I saw her take it all in, really see it, maybe for the first time. She sat on my secondhand couch. I stayed standing. Nora, we need to talk about what happened at dinner. I waited. Mom is... She's stressed. She didn't mean what she said. Which part? The part where I'm not half the woman you are? Or the part where she told Dad you saved the house? Vivian flinched. I didn't know. About the payments. I thought... You thought what, exactly? I kept my voice level. Calm. You never wondered where the money was coming from? You never asked Mom how she was making the mortgage payments? I assumed she and Dad had worked it out. Did you? I stepped closer. Or did you just not want to know? She looked down at her coffee cup. That's not fair. What's not fair, Vivian, is that I've been paying $3,500 a month for 3 years while eating meal prep and wearing Target clothes, and you've been accepting credit for it. What's not fair is Mom telling everyone you're the hero while I'm invisible. I didn't ask for that. But you didn't say no either, did you? Silence. Finally, Vivian stood up. Her lawyer mask slipped back into place. Nora, if you make a scene at Mom's party, you're going to embarrass the whole family. James Morrison will be there, my senior partner. This could affect my career. I stared at my sister. Are you seriously threatening me right now? I'm not threatening you. I'm asking you to think about the consequences. For all of us. I've been thinking about consequences for 3 years, Vivian, while you've been thinking about yourself. She walked to the door, stopped. I didn't know, Nora. I really didn't. Not knowing and not wanting to know are two different things. She left without another word. I sat on my couch for a long time after that, staring at the closed door. My sister had chosen, and so had I. Friday night, less than 24 hours until the party. I sat in my studio staring at the black binder on my folding table. Behind it, my laptop screen glowed with an open email draft to my father. Dad, maybe I shouldn't come to the party tomorrow. Maybe it's better if I just... My cursor blinked in the empty space where the rest of the sentence should go. Maybe it's better if I just disappear, stay invisible, keep the peace. My mother's voice echoed in my head. You're not that type of person. You don't need recognition. Vivian's warning. Think about the consequences, for all of us. I thought about 40 people celebrating a lie. I thought about Patricia Vanderbilt and James Morrison, and everyone who'd known my family for years, all believing that Vivian had saved us. I thought about 3 more years of this, 5 more, 10. A lifetime of being erased. My phone buzzed. A text from Richard Smith. Nora, I've been thinking about our conversation from 2021. You asked me to keep copies of everything. I did. They're ready whenever you need them. You don't have to do this alone. I looked at my laptop screen again, at that unfinished email. Then I opened my photo gallery, scrolled back 3 years, found a screenshot I'd saved from September 2021, the first email from Pemberton Trust Bank. Dear Ms. Ellis, thank you for your mortgage payment of $3,500. Your dedication to keeping your family home is commendable. I remembered that night, my mother crying, my father's voice cracking on the phone with the bank. The decision I'd made, I'd saved my family, not Vivian, me. I deleted the email draft, opened a new message, this time to Richard. I need you at the party tomorrow. Bring the notarized mortgage deed. I'm done being invisible. His reply came 30 seconds later. I'll be there. Proud of you. I closed my laptop and lay down on my bed, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, everything would change. I was ready. Saturday morning, 6 a.m. I woke before my alarm, showered, made coffee. My hands were steady. I'd laid out my outfit the night before, a navy suit from Banana Republic, not designer, but professional, clean lines, tailored, the kind of thing you'd wear to a business meeting where you meant every word. At my desk, I printed 5 copies of everything, the mortgage deed with my name, Richard Smith's notary seal on page 3, dated September 15, 2021, all 36 bank statements showing transfers from my account to Margaret Ellis's account. Every single one marked mortgage payment. The email thread with Pemberton Trust Bank. 36 confirmations. Dear Ms. Nora Ellis, thank you for your payment of $3,500. And a summary sheet I'd typed up the night before. Mortgage payment record. Nora Ellis, September 2021, September 2024. Monthly payment, $3,500. Total duration, 36 months. Total amount, paid, $127,000. Original mortgage balance, Sept. 2021, $380,000. Current remaining balance, $253,000. Percentage, paid by Nora Ellis, 33.4%. I slipped everything into a black leather portfolio I'd bought years ago for client meetings. Professional. Undeniable. At 10 a.m., Richard called. You sure about this, Nora? I've never been more sure of anything. Okay, I'll be there at 6:30, before the party starts, just like we discussed. Thank you, Richard. Hey, you're doing the right thing. What your family did, what your mother did, that's not okay. You deserve to be seen. At 5 p.m., my father called. Nora, I'll be with you tonight, whatever happens. Thanks, Dad. And Nora, I'm sorry. I should have protected you from this. You didn't know. I should have asked. I should have paid attention. His voice broke. I see you now. I promise you that. At 6 p.m., I looked at myself in the mirror one last time. Navy suit, black portfolio, red lipstick, the one touch of color. I looked like someone who had something to say, and this time people were going to listen. 7 p.m. I pulled up to the Pacific Heights house in my 10-year-old Honda Civic and parked behind a Tesla and a Mercedes. Valet parking. Of course. The house glowed with warm light from every window. Through the bay windows, I could see people already gathering, women in cocktail dresses, men in suits. everyone holding crystal champagne flutes. I took a breath, grabbed my portfolio, got out of the car. Inside, the house looked like something from Architectural Digest. The baccarat chandelier sparkled above the dining room, long tables draped in white Pratesi linens, place settings with the Hermes china. Bottles of Chateau Margaux lined up on the sideboard. I recognized the label. $400 per bottle. 40 people. Exactly as promised. I recognized most of them. Patricia Vanderbilt stood near the fireplace in an Oscar de la Renta dress the color of champagne, her Mikimoto pearls catching the light. She was talking to 3 other Pacific Union Club members. James Morrison, Vivian's senior partner, stood near the windows in a Tom Ford suit, laughing at something another attorney had said. 10 of Vivian's colleagues from the firm, 25 family friends I'd known my whole life, and at the center of it all, a banner hanging above the fireplace. Thank you, Vivian, our family's hero. Below it, a table covered with framed photos. Vivian through the years. Vivian graduating law school. Vivian's 40 Under 40 magazine feature. Vivian shaking hands with clients. Not a single photo included me. My mother appeared, gliding through the crowd in a cream-colored Chanel dress. Her hair was perfect, her makeup flawless. She looked like a woman who'd won. She saw me. Her smile froze for just a second. "Nora," she said, her voice carrying that warning tone. "You came." "I wouldn't miss it, Mom." Vivian stood near the dining room table in a red Zimmermann dress, her Bottega Veneta bag on a nearby chair. She looked beautiful, confident, like someone who'd earned every bit of praise coming her way. She met my eyes across the room. I held up my portfolio slightly, just enough for her to see. Her face went pale. At 7:15, Richard Smith arrived. He wore a gray suit, carried a leather briefcase. He nodded at me and stood near the far window. My father came to my side. "Ready?" he whispered. "Yes." At 7:30, my mother clinked a knife against her champagne glass. The room fell silent. "Everyone," she announced, smiling, "thank you so much for coming tonight." It was time. My mother stood at the head of the dining room, champagne glass raised, looking every inch the proud society matron. "My dear friends," she began, her voice warm and practiced, "David and I are so grateful you could join us tonight. This gathering is very special to us." She turned toward Vivian, who stood by the fireplace beneath that banner. "Our family's hero. 3 years ago, our family faced a crisis. David had just retired, and we encountered some financial difficulties, the kind that can break a family apart." She paused for effect. "We were in danger of losing this house, our home for 25 years. Murmurs of sympathy rippled through the crowd. Patricia Vanderbilt put a hand to her heart. "But my daughter Vivian," Mom continued, her voice swelling with pride, "stepped up in ways I never could have imagined. She used her legal expertise, her connections, her resources. She negotiated with the bank. She restructured our payments. She sacrificed her own time and energy to ensure this family stayed together." I felt my father tense beside me. "Vivian worked tirelessly behind the scenes," Mom said. "Never asking for recognition, never seeking praise. She simply did what needed to be done because that's the kind of woman she is. Strong, capable, selfless." More applause. James Morrison was smiling, nodding approvingly at Vivian. Mom raised her glass higher. "So tonight, we honor Vivian Ellis, the woman who saved our family, the woman who proves that success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself, it's about what you do for the people you love." The room erupted in applause. Vivian smiled that modest smile. "Thank you, Mom. I did what any daughter would do. This family means everything to me." My mother beamed. "Vivian has always been extraordinary. She's always been the kind of daughter who—" I stepped forward. "Mom," I said clearly, loudly. Every head turned toward me. "I need to say something." Margaret's eyes flashed warning. "Nora, not now." "Yes, now." I moved to the center of the room, portfolio in hand. "Because you've spent 3 years telling a story that isn't true." The room went silent. Absolute breathless silence. "What are you doing?" Vivian whispered. I looked at her, at my mother, at all 40 faces staring at me. "I'm telling the truth." I stood in the center of the room, surrounded by 40 people who'd known me my entire life and never really seen me. My voice came out steady, calm, professional. "My name is Nora Ellis. I'm 29 years old. I'm a freelance accountant, and for the past 3 years I have paid the mortgage on this house." Whispers erupted. Patricia Vanderbilt's champagne glass stopped halfway to her lips. James Morrison's smile vanished. "Nora," my mother started. "No, Mom, it's my turn to talk." I opened the portfolio, held up the first document so everyone could see. From September 2021 to September 2024, I transferred $3,500 every month into my mother's bank account. That's $127,000 total. "This is inappropriate." Margaret's voice was shrill now. "What's inappropriate," I said, meeting her eyes, "is letting everyone believe a lie for 3 years." I turned to the room. The mortgage on this house was $380,000 when my father retired. His investment portfolio crashed. They couldn't make payments, so I took over. I held up the next document. "This is the mortgage deed modification, notarized by attorney Richard Smith on September 15, 2021. My name, Nora Ellis, is listed as the payment guarantor. Richard is here tonight. He can verify it." Richard stepped forward from his position by the window. I notarized that document. Everything Nora is saying is accurate. Vivian's face had lost all color. "Nora, please." "Did you ever wonder, Vivian?" I turned to my sister. "Did you ever ask Mom how she was making the payments? Where the money came from?" She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I didn't think so. I pulled out the stack of bank statements. I have 36 months of statements from Pemberton Trust Bank. Every single transfer documented, every confirmation email saved. Would anyone like to see them? I held them out. Patricia Vanderbilt took a step forward, then another. She took the statements from my hand and started reading. Her eyes widened. "Margaret," she said slowly, looking up at my mother, "these are real." "Patricia, this is a family matter. These show monthly transfers of $3,500 from Nora's account to yours, every month, for 3 years. James Morrison stepped forward next, taking another copy of the statements. He scanned them quickly, lawyer's eyes catching every detail. "Ms. Ellis," he said, looking at me, "these are legitimate bank documents?" "Directly from Pemberton Trust Bank," I confirmed. "I can provide the original emails if you'd like additional verification." My father moved to stand beside me. His voice was quiet but carried across the room. "I didn't know about any of this until last week. My wife told me Vivian had arranged everything, that our older daughter was handling the mortgage." He looked at Margaret. "I trusted you, and you lied to me for 3 years." The room was dead silent now. I handed additional copies to James Morrison, to Patricia Vanderbilt, to the 3 club members standing closest. "Page 1, I said calmly, "shows the account information. My checking account at Wells Fargo, Margaret Ellis's account at Bank of America. Every first of the month, $3,500 transferred." Patricia turned pages slowly, her Mikimoto pearls clicking softly as she moved. "There are dates, confirmation numbers. This is meticulous documentation." "I'm an accountant," I said simply. "Documentation is what I do." I held up the mortgage deed. "This is the original modification agreement signed and notarized. My name is on page 2 as the payment obligator. Richard Smith's notary seal is on page 3. Richard stepped forward again. "I advised Nora at the time to keep complete records. I can confirm I notarized this document on September 15, 2021, at a coffee shop in the financial district. I also have copies in my office files." James Morrison was reading the bank statements carefully now. "These confirmation emails," he said, pointing to the printouts. "They're addressed to Ms. Nora Ellis and reference mortgage account number ending in 4782. Is that this property's account?" My father pulled out his phone, opened his banking app, and held it up. Yes, that's our mortgage account number. A woman I didn't recognize, one of Vivian's colleagues, raised her hand slightly. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. Margaret, you said Vivian arranged the payments? My mother's face had gone from pale to red. This is... Nora volunteered to help. It was a family contribution. Vivian contributed too, in other ways. What ways? I asked quietly. Silence. Mom, what ways did Vivian contribute? Margaret's mouth opened and closed. She provided emotional support. She gave advice. Her reputation helped. Her reputation, I repeated. Dad was about to lose his house, and Vivian's reputation paid the mortgage? Patricia Vanderbilt made a small sound. Disgust, maybe. Or disappointment. James Morrison handed the statements back to me. These are legitimate financial documents. Ms. Ellis, Nora, has proven substantial monetary contribution to this property. He turned to Vivian. Did you make any financial contributions to your parents' mortgage in the past 3 years? Vivian's voice was barely a whisper. No. But you accepted credit for keeping the house. She looked at the floor. I didn't ask for this party. But you didn't correct the story either, did you? James's voice was cold. Professional disappointment. Vivian said nothing. Vivian finally looked up. Her lawyer instincts kicked in. The practiced composure, the deflection. Everyone, please. This is a complicated family situation. There are financial arrangements that... Vivian. I kept my voice level. Calm. Did you pay any money toward this mortgage? Yes or no? She hesitated. It's not that simple. Yes or no? No, she admitted. But I contributed in other ways. I advised Mom on financial matters. I helped her understand the legal documents. Did you ever wonder who was actually making the payments? Silence. Did you ever ask where the $3,500 was coming from every month? I thought, she swallowed. I thought Mom and Dad had savings, some account I didn't know about. Did you ask? No. Why not? She closed her eyes. Because I was busy. Because I was working 80-hour weeks trying to make partner. Her voice cracked. Because I assumed someone else was handling it. James Morrison's expression had shifted from confusion to disappointment. Vivian, you're a corporate attorney. You know financial structures. You didn't think to verify how a $380,000 mortgage was being paid? I trusted my mother. And when she told you that you'd saved the family, I pressed. When she thanked you publicly, when people congratulated you, you never thought to correct them? Vivian's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know how to. It had gone on so long, I didn't know how to take it back. Patricia Vanderbilt stepped forward, and her voice was ice. Vivian, I sponsored you for membership at Pacific Union Club. I wrote letters of recommendation for you. I told everyone you were a young woman of exceptional character. She paused, and the weight of her words fell heavy in the room. I was wrong. James Morrison shook his head slowly. We'll need to talk on Monday, Vivian. In my office. He looked around the room. I apologize for this situation. I was clearly misinformed about the circumstances. He set down his champagne glass and walked toward the door. 3 other guests followed him. My father moved to the center of the room. His hands were steady now, his voice clear. I want to say something before anyone else leaves. The remaining guests turned toward him. First, I want to apologize to my daughter Nora, in front of all of you. He looked at me, and his eyes were shining. Nora, you carried a burden that should never have been yours. You sacrificed your savings, your comfort, your life for 3 years. And instead of thanking you, we erased you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My throat tightened. I nodded. Dad turned to the room. Second, I want to address the financial situation directly. Our family has an education trust fund that I manage. It contains $180,000 set aside for both of my daughter's futures. Margaret's eyes went wide. David, what are you? I'm going to withdraw $127,000 from that fund, he continued, his voice firm, and I'm going to transfer it to Nora, not as a gift, as repayment. She paid our mortgage. This is money she's owed. David, that fund is for both girls. Margaret, you don't get to have an opinion right now. The words were quiet but absolute. He looked at Vivian. Vivian, you'll still have access to the remaining $53,000 if you need it, but Nora's portion, the portion she already spent keeping this family together, belongs to her. James Morrison, who'd been halfway to the door, stopped. Mr. Ellis, that's the right thing to do. Patricia nodded approvingly. It's the only thing to do. My father came to stand beside me, put his hand on my shoulder. Nora doesn't need recognition, he said. But she deserves it. And she deserves every cent she put into this house. He turned to Margaret. We'll discuss the rest in private. But this is non-negotiable. Mom stood frozen, her champagne glass trembling in her hand. Everyone, Dad said to the room, thank you for coming. But I think it's time this party ended. I need to pause here for a moment, because I never imagined this moment would come, standing in front of 40 people, finally being seen after 3 years of invisibility. If you've ever had to fight for your truth, drop a comment and let me know what gave you the courage. And if you think I did the right thing, please share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Your support means everything to me. Now let me tell you what happened next, because the aftermath was almost harder than the confrontation itself. Within 20 minutes, the room had emptied. Guests set down their champagne glasses and quietly made their exits. Polite murmurs of, "Thank you for having us," that rang hollow. Awkward glances. No one looked at Vivian. No one looked at Margaret. Patricia Vanderbilt approached me before she left. She took my hand in both of hers. "Nora, dear," she said quietly, "what you did took tremendous courage. Standing up for yourself, especially to family, is never easy. Thank you, Mrs. Vanderbilt." She glanced back at my mother, her expression cold. Margaret and I have served on the Pacific Union Club board together for 12 years. After tonight, I'll be recommending her removal from the membership committee. We can't have someone with such questionable character representing the club. She squeezed my hand once more and left. James Morrison stopped in the doorway, turned back to Vivian. "Monday morning," he said. 9 a.m., my office. We need to discuss your judgment." He paused. "The senior partnership vote is scheduled for December. After tonight, I think we need to reconsider the timeline." Vivian's face crumpled. "James, please." "You allowed your family to publicly celebrate a lie, Vivian. In our profession, integrity is everything. We'll talk Monday." He walked out. By 8:30, only 6 people remained. Me, my father, my mother, Vivian, Richard Smith, and one catering staff member quietly collecting glasses. The banner still hung over the fireplace. "Thank you, Vivian, our family's hero." It looked obscene now. My mother stood alone by the dining room table, surrounded by untouched food on Hermès china. The Chateau Margaux bottles, opened but barely drunk. She looked at me. "Are you happy now? You've destroyed this family." My father stepped between us. "Margaret, stop." "No, David. She humiliated us. She humiliated Vivian in front of everyone." "She told the truth," Dad said quietly. "Something you should have done 3 years ago." I picked up my portfolio. "I'm leaving." Richard walked with me to the door. Behind me, I heard my mother start to cry. Not the dignified tears she showed at parties. Real, broken sobs. I didn't look back. 2 weeks later, I received a notification on my phone. Wire transfer, $127,000 deposited to my account from David Ellis. The memo line read, "What you're owed. With love and deepest apology, Dad." I sat on my IKEA couch and stared at the number on my screen. 6 figures. Money that had been mine all along, returned at last. I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. That afternoon, an email from my father. Nora, I know this doesn't undo the past 3 years, but I hope it gives you a foundation for whatever comes next. You deserve a life where you're seen, valued, and celebrated. I'm sorry I didn't give you that sooner. I love you. Dad. I replied, Thank you, Dad. I love you too. Over the next 2 weeks, my phone collected messages. I didn't answer. Mom. Nora, please call me. We need to talk. Mom. I know I made mistakes, but you're still my daughter. Mom. Patricia Vanderbilt won't return my calls. The club is voting on my removal next week. Are you happy? Vivian. Nora, I'm sorry. I really am. I should have asked questions. I should have known. Vivian. James postponed my partnership vote. He says I need to demonstrate renewed commitment to ethical standards. Vivian. Can we please talk? I want to make this right. I read every message, deleted none of them, but I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop and searched. Remote accounting jobs, Seattle. 3 days later, I had an interview with a tech startup. They offered me $95,000 a year, full remote, benefits included. I accepted. On November 15th, I gave notice on my studio apartment in San Francisco. Found a one-bedroom in Capitol Hill, Seattle, with a view of Puget Sound. Rent, $2,000 a month. I could afford it now. Dad came to help me pack. Seattle? He asked. I need space, Dad. Distance. A place where I can build a life that's mine. He nodded. I understand. But Nora, I'm not going away. I'll call. I'll visit. If you'll let me. I'd like that. He helped me load boxes into the U-Haul. As we worked, he said quietly, Your mother wants to apologize. I know. Will you let her? I thought about that for a long time. Maybe, someday, when she's ready to actually mean it. That's fair. We finished packing in silence. April 2025. 6 months in Seattle. My apartment in Capitol Hill had hardwood floors, a small balcony, and windows that caught the morning light. I'd furnished it slowly, carefully, real furniture this time, not just IKEA. A proper couch, a desk I didn't have to fold up. Art on the walls. Work at the tech startup was good. My boss appreciated my precision, my reliability. I got a raise after 3 months, $105,000 now. I joined a running group at Green Lake, made friends with 3 women my age, Sarah, a teacher, Lynn, a graphic designer, Maya, a nurse. None of them knew my story. They just knew me as Nora, the accountant who liked trail running and made terrible jokes. It was enough. My father called every Sunday. We'd talk for an hour about his week, my week, books we were reading, restaurants he thought I'd like in Seattle. He never pushed me to talk to Mom or Vivian. He just showed up, consistently, the way he should have all along. In March, the messages from my mother had stopped. Then, one Tuesday, a letter arrived. Handwritten, 4 pages. Dear Nora, I've been going to therapy. Dr. Brennan helped me understand how deeply I failed you, how my need for social validation made me cruel to my own daughter. I told you that you weren't half the woman Vivian was, and I will never forgive myself for that. You are whole, you are enough, you always were. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I'm working on becoming someone who deserves your forgiveness. I love you. I'm sorry. Mom. I read it 3 times, put it in a drawer. A week later, an email from Vivian. Nora, I've started therapy too. I'm learning about complicity, about privilege, about how silence can be just as harmful as lies. I'm sorry I didn't speak up. I'm sorry I let Mom make you invisible. I don't know if we can ever be sisters again, but I want to try. No pressure. Just, if you're ever ready. V. I stared at that email for 2 days. Finally, I wrote back. Mom, Vivian, I don't hate either of you, but I can't have a relationship where I have to prove my worth. If someday you can love me not for what I do, But for who I am, maybe we can talk. Until then, I need this distance. Nora. I hit send. Then I went for a run at Green Lake and didn't think about San Francisco for the rest of the day. 1 week after I sent that email to my family, something unexpected arrived in my inbox. Subject: a proposal for you, Nora. From Patricia Vanderbilt. I opened it, confused. Dear Nora, I hope this email finds you well in Seattle. Your father mentioned you'd relocated, and I wanted to reach out. I've been thinking about you a great deal since that evening in October. What you did, standing up for yourself with such grace and evidence, was remarkable. In my 40 years in San Francisco society, I've rarely seen someone handle conflict with such professionalism and dignity. I'm writing because I sit on the board of directors for Pemberton Trust Bank. We have several branches, including one in Seattle. We're currently seeking a senior financial analyst for our Pacific Northwest division. The position requires someone with meticulous attention to detail, unshakable integrity, and the ability to handle complex financial structures. Your background in accounting, combined with the composure you demonstrated under extraordinary circumstances, suggests you'd be an excellent fit. Starting salary: $135,000 annually, full benefits, retirement matching, professional development budget. If you're interested, I'd be happy to forward your resume to our hiring director. No obligations, no pressure. I simply believe talent should be recognized. You deserve opportunities, Nora. You always did. Warm regards, Patricia Vanderbilt. I read the email 3 times. Then I forwarded it to my father with a note. Did you ask Mrs. Vanderbilt to do this? His reply came 5 minutes later. No, but I'm not surprised. Patricia values integrity above all else. She sees you, Nora. Finally, people see you. I sat on my balcony, watching the sunset over Puget Sound, and thought about that first email from Pemberton Trust Bank 3 years ago. Your dedication to keeping your family home is commendable. Now the same bank was offering me a career, not because I'd sacrificed, because I was good at what I did. I wrote back to Patricia. Mrs. Vanderbilt, I would be honored to learn more about the position. Thank you for thinking of me. 3 weeks later, I started at Pemberton Trust Bank. 6 months after that, I bought a small house in Ballard with a garden, and every morning, I woke up knowing I was enough. Not because someone finally said so, but because I'd chosen to believe it. So that's my story. The story of being invisible, of being told I wasn't enough, of 3 years of sacrifice that no one saw until I made them see it. People ask me sometimes if I regret what I did. If I regret standing up at that party, embarrassing my family in front of 40 guests. I don't. Because here's what I learned. Silence doesn't keep the peace. It just keeps the pain buried. And when you bury pain long enough, it doesn't go away. It grows. My mother and sister are still in San Francisco. We text occasionally. Surface level stuff. Happy birthday. Hope you're well. Maybe someday we'll rebuild something real. Maybe we won't. I'm okay either way. My father visits every few months. We hike in the Cascades, eat at Pike Place Market, talk about everything and nothing. He's learning to see me. It's enough. I'm 30 now. I have a job I love, friends who value me, a house with a garden where I grow tomatoes that actually taste like tomatoes. I'm building a life that's mine, not in anyone's shadow, not seeking anyone's approval. If you're watching this and you're the invisible one in your family, the one who gives everything and gets nothing back, I want you to know something. Your worth is not determined by whether people recognize it. You don't owe anyone your invisibility to keep the peace. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop sacrificing yourself for people who refuse to see you. Stand up, speak up, even if your voice shakes, even if 40 people are watching, because you deserve to be seen. If this story resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I share true stories about boundaries, family, and choosing yourself. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and telling the truth? What did you do? I read every single comment, and your story might be the next one I share. Check the description below for more stories like this one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, you are enough, exactly as you are.